there are many, many companies in the world that go too far down the road of capitalism, and they will exploit people to make a buck. Redemptive is the other side of the spectrum, where you put people first. You flip that axis.
Welcome to the Workmatters Podcast, where you will hear real-life stories from everyday people in different roles and industries share the challenges of practically integrating their faith and work. Each week together, we'll wrestle over what God is doing in us and with us while we work. So let's dive in. Well, Darrel and I are so grateful to get to have a incredible friend to Workmatters and a great leader with us today, Erin Kiefer. Erin, thanks for being on the Workmatters Podcast.
Grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Erin is the chairman and owner of Kiefer Sage, a family-owned Arkansas-based manufacturer behind several internationally known product brands. She has spent more than 30 years in numerous roles guiding the company through growth, change, and innovation with a focus on people and purpose. Erin's influence extends well beyond Kiefer Sage. She chaired the 100th anniversary executive committee of the Rogers-Lowell Area Chamber of Commerce. She currently serves on the board of Mercy Health Northwest Arkansas and has been honored as a Women in Business honoree by Arkansas Business Journal. She also contributes to statewide economic policy as a member of the Arkansas State Chamber Tax Committee. She's a graduate of John Brown University with both a bachelor's and master's degree in business administration. Erin and her husband, Ben, enjoy water sports and time with their 3 sons and how many grandchildren, Erin?
5 granddaughters.
5 granddaughters, which I learned today there will be a pink Christmas tree this year for the first time.
That's right.
That's awesome. Did I leave anything out, Erin, or anything you want to add to that?
No, that's it. That's it. Very grateful to be here, like I said. And it sounds like a lot when you read a 30-year history, but it's been a full life for sure. Yeah,
that's awesome.
There's still much more to live.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
We know that your faith is such a big part of who you are and how you lead, but take us back. How did that all begin? Where does the story of your faith begin?
Yeah, well, I was raised in a Christian home. My parents were believers. They raised me in church. But the story of faith and work started getting intertwined at a very young age. My father founded Kiefer Sage. It was then called Sage Industries when I was just 5 years old.
Okay.
And the way that he did that, he was leaning into the Lord and his faith journey to get led to develop the Mart Cart, which is one of our brands. It's the first commercial electric shopping cart developed for those with mobility impairments so they can do some of the most basic tasks in life. My great-grandmother was living with us at the time, and she was elderly and had difficulty getting around. My mother was an occupational therapist by trade, so naturally we were the family that great-grandma came to stay with because we could offer the best support and the best help. And my father had the idea for the cart because when we would go grocery shopping, my mother would take me, I was very young at the time, and my older brother along to the grocery store and great-grandma, and she had to stay in the car. Because we couldn't leave her at home, and we couldn't bring her into the store because she couldn't get around, at least not for the duration of the shopping trip. So my faith started at a very early age, seeing my dad walk in faith to begin his career journey.
I love that. I love that story because, and I knew some of that story just having talked before, but that your dad in his faith journey wanted to work for God and work with God. And he saw something that was broken. He saw a need that needed to be met and came up with this idea and walked into it. I wonder, when he saw that and he went into it, that had to be a exciting but hard journey too?
It was. Yes, it was a very difficult journey. He was actually out of a job and needed to make an income and earn a living for his family. He had just relocated from Los Angeles to Northwest Arkansas. This was 1979, and there was nothing in Northwest Arkansas except the first Walmart store and a Shoney's restaurant and McDonald's. And my mother said everything closed at 5 p.m. So it was a very different Northwest Arkansas in 1979. He had relocated the family here because Los Angeles was not a great place place to raise a family, not a desirable place to raise a family at that time. And the promise was that his father, my grandfather Tom, would follow and they would be in business together. Well, circumstances didn't allow that to happen. So my grandfather passed away. And after he passed away, my dad was left without a job. And through a series of dreams and prayers and words from other faithful believers and friends that he had made in the area, he decided to go into business with Mark Cart. It was very much a struggle. My mom and dad lived on some retirement fund that my mother had scraped together from her careers in occupational therapy in Los Angeles. She went back to work as an occupational therapist for a time. And my dad was welding together the first Mark Cart prototype in our garage, in our home in Rogers. And I still remember the smell of welded metal coming in from the garage into the kitchen.
Wow.
And it was 4 months before he sold the first cart.
Wow.
So built this cart's prototype in our garage, would take it in the back of a pickup truck and drive around to grocery stores, and he got laughed out of many grocery stores.
Really?
Wow.
Some managers said, no, we don't have a need for that. And some said, we don't want those kind of people in our stores.
Oh, wow.
So what we were solving, what my dad was solving with Mark Cart, we still solve today, is not only serving overlooked and undervalued markets, but serving overlooked and undervalued people.
Wow. Wow.
I'm just trying to take my mind back there, because now those carts are just part of what you see when you go to the grocery store. And to imagine a time when people were so isolated and overlooked, that is really that's kingdom work, isn't it?
It is kingdom work. Yes, it is kingdom work. Absolutely. And that's what we want to continue today, is kingdom work.
Yeah. Well, tell us more about the other things you do, because this isn't kind of a one-off thing that got you started. There's this theme beneath everything that you guys do, isn't there? So what else?
Yes, there is
Kiefer Sage?
There is a theme. So yes, Kiefer Sage today is now a holding company. It did start as Sage Industries with Mark Cart. My father was doing pressure washing equipment with his father in Los Angeles. And through a turn of events, that business waned and went away. But because my father knew how to do that too, as soon as Mark Cart was running and had gotten going, he's like, well, I know how to do pressure washers too. So he came up with an innovation in that space too, and developed the first central pressure washing system, which we call Spraymaster. So that is in any commercial or residential or industrial space you can think of. We clean a lot of fast food restaurants, a lot of doggy daycares. We're in a lot of spaces, but not seen by anybody. So we're the most famous pressure washing company you've never heard of. We're in places like SoFi Stadium, Apple, Facebook, and LinkedIn headquarters. We're in a lot of places. And then Jotodesk, which is aftermarket law enforcement vehicle equipment. So we help protect and serve with that equipment that converts a civilian vehicle into a public safety vehicle. We help protect and serve those who protect and serve us.
Wow.
So yeah, redemptive work is very important to us. Kiefer Sage now is a holding company that holds those entities, and also Assembled Products, which is manufacturing and co-assembly services.
Redemptive work.
Yes.
Talk more about that.
Yes, redemptive work. Well, there are many, many companies in the world that go too far down the road of capitalism, and they will exploit people to make a buck. Redemptive is the other side of the spectrum, where you put people first. You flip that axis. And at Kiefer Sage, we always keep our people top of mind when we're making any decision. It's not the almighty dollar at Kiefer Sage. It's how will this affect our people? How will it affect our market? How will it affect our culture, our customers? The dollars will follow, but we are so focused on doing kingdom work first, right? Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you.
So I'm curious, because coming to a place of we're gonna turn our business into a redemptive work, something had to change in you. something along the way, there had to be a mind shift or an idea shift or a heart shift in you. What happened in you that made you want to say, hey, I want to take the company this direction and really make it all about people and be redemptive in the work we do?
That's such a good question. And I think there was always an undercurrent of that in me, especially because watching my father and the way he founded the business and his care for people. But it became at the forefront when I took the helm. In 2017, I became president, CEO. It was not a great time in the history of our company. Our leader then, who was not a family member, had passed away suddenly. It was unexpected. And so I had to, boost the culture. Everybody was mourning. The leader we had was a very beloved leader. His name was George. Everybody loved him. But the company was not doing so well financially. We weren't growing. And I knew we had to solve a money problem, but the kingdom problem was the biggest priority. We had to keep kingdom work top of mind. Yeah.
Tell us, we jumped right into your role now. When did you start? Did you start working for Dad? And how did that? What were those years like? As you look back on those, how does that fit into the story that God started to tell in your life? Yeah,
I did start young. I started working for my dad when I was 14 years old. I had a summer job. I would go in the office 40 hours a week. And first job was I would help the receptionist. I would train with her and learn how to answer the phone and forward calls. I would help our accountant with bookkeeping on 14-column paper. This was before we had anything digitized in the company. And then I kept coming back for my summer job year after year, eventually worked my way into assisting the sales and marketing departments and just sending literature, lots of literature. This was before we had an internet presence, really before the internet had taken off. So this was mid-90s. And then I went off to college, also came back in the summers during college, did my college internship that was required to get my bachelor's degree in business. And my husband and I met in college, and we started having children right away. And so I took a year off when each of my children were born, but then got right back into the workforce full time and started taking on more and more managerial roles. So product manager, director of special projects, customer service manager. I eventually worked my way up to chief operating officer before I took the helm.
I'd like to recognize and thank Simmons Foods, Inc. for being our exclusive sponsor for this season of the Workmatters Podcast. Their generosity is making this new season of meaningful content and inspiring guests possible. We hope people are encouraged to see work as a place where God shapes them more into His image, in their work, at their work, and through their work. Simmons Foods, Inc. is a family-owned and led company based in Siloam Springs, Arkansas, supplying poultry, pet, and animal nutrition products to customers in all 50 states and more than 40 countries around the world. Please visit simmonsfoods.com to learn more about our wonderful sponsor. Thank you. God thrusts you in. So you've been working in all these roles, and then you get thrust into this new role.
Yes.
With the passing of the CEO.
Yes.
What were you thinking? How were you processing that sudden leap into this new role and taking over this company?
Yeah.
And what was that like? What was your faith journey like during that time?
So this was 2017 when I was thrust into the role. Like I said, the company was not performing well financially. We had some leaders in the company that were each going in their own direction. George was a great discipler, a great lover of people, but wasn't leading each of those individual leaders on the same path. They weren't all heading in the same direction.
Okay.
And so I knew I had to get them all rowing the boat in the same direction. But we also had this financial issue. So I struggled for a little while to get everybody going in the same direction. We finally started EOS traction, a lot of your listeners may have heard of it. And when we started that in 2021, we really got the engines going. We really started growing. We got our leaders all aligned. We were tackling project after project, and it felt good. We had good momentum. The culture was improving. But the faith journey and all of that, boy, I spent a lot of time in prayer. A lot of time in prayer, a lot of tears, a lot of struggles, a lot of very hard decisions, decisions that to keep people on the team or to not. And God showed himself faithful in a lot of situations. I mean, through all that, COVID happened. And you're trying to get the engines going, and then COVID, and everything just stopped. All of my efforts towards leadership in, hey, we're going to grow, we're going to innovate, we're going to develop, it just stopped when the world stopped, and we had to deal with all the restrictions and the regulations and the product shortages and all of those things. God was faithful to bring us through that as well. That was a rough go. But on the other side of that, this was 2023, our work with traction and EOS had kind of stagnated. We hit a ceiling. And I realized I had to, I had a great team, really great team. But I realized when I took a hard look at the team, we did not have the collective skill set to take us to the next level. So some really deep soul searching in that to say, okay, how do we bring on more skill? What's the right type of skill that we need? Who is that? What position is that? And because I had grown up inside the organization from a child, I couldn't see the forest for the trees. I needed outside perspective. And I had to go, I need help. I don't know how to do this. It was at that same time that I was in a local peer CEO group and met a man named Justin Sparks. He was in the group as well. He was looking for his next step in his career journey. And we developed a relationship. We started going to lunch and talking. And I said, this is what I need in my company. And I told him about the vision and the kingdom work. And he was in lockstep with me. And I said, well, I've got a few mountains to climb. I need approval from the board to split my role the way I'm thinking I'm splitting it, because even our legal documents said that there was only one leader at the top. So I kind of kicked the can a little bit, if you would. And then a series of events happened in early 2024. I had lost 2 key leaders in my company, and my father had passed away. And so I was just completely burnt out. And it was starting to show up physically. I was ill because I was so burnt out and had burned the candle too long at both ends. So it was just, there was one day where the straw broke the camel's back. It was just a situation at work. And I left that office and I texted Justin and I said, let's move on this thing. Let's get you on board. And he said at that very moment when I texted him, he and his wife were praying about what opportunity to take.
Oh, that's neat.
So since 2024, it's been a year and a half since Justin has come on board. We have reorged, rebranded, relocated, and restructured our legal entities in that 18 months. And so what we've done is we've stretched our tent pegs, and we've made room for those next projects and for that next level of growth.
Wow.
Thanks for sharing that. And I want our listeners to pause and think of what a great example of humility that is. Not everybody would be that open-handed. And we've talked on other podcasts just about a level of desperation that we can feel at work that can drive us to depend on God. And I hear that come through, not in some dysfunctional way, but a very honest way of how much you needed God to show up and give wisdom and bring the right person, and just all sorts of stuff was running through my head as you told that story.
Yes. Well, during that time too, the Lord was sending me many, many believers, faithful friends that were saying, I want you to get this, Erin, rest. And even I'm flipping the axis from, work and striving to rest. And I had to be humble. I had to let go. I had to trust. But he has really flipped the axis to where I can now rest and heal physically. And
wow.
And we're seeing growth because of it. Because I stepped back and said, okay, God, you've got this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm moved in the same way by your story, because most of the leadership books or most of the leadership podcasts or people speaking on leadership, it's all about go, 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 drive, drive, drive. And there was brokenness in you, desperation in you, humility in you, tears, prayer. You needed a community around you to surround you and support you, and even kind of like hold up your arms of leadership while you were going through this. And then a leap of faith with a phone call to Justin saying, we're going to move. Even though I don't have it all worked out, I know I have to do this. And I'm trusting that God is guiding me. I mean, did you hear all that too?
Totally.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I want our listeners to really, really, with right where you are, it's good to be desperate. That's the natural part of following Christ. It's a natural part. It should be a natural part of our work on a daily basis. Donnie Smith, who he said, man, it's at work where my faith is most tested. It's a place where at times I can feel the most desperate. What do you have a thought? What are you thinking, Darrel?
I know you still work with family members, so I was curious about as work where we're tested. And then tell us about the family dynamic at work.
I do.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, the family dynamic is very interesting. There have been different family members of different, relationship status through the years. We had to say goodbye to a couple of family members, their choice. But my husband and I have worked together there for 29 years, and that dynamic has been interesting.
Wow.
And so in very different capacities, right? When we were younger, it was just, he was in one department, I was in another. And as we started to each gain more responsibility, we started to try to protect each other. And it didn't work out that well, the more responsibility that we got, because as I became leader and now I'm my husband's supervisor, he was trying to protect me in ways that I wouldn't have led the company to solve a certain issue. And so now I'm trying to lead the organization to solve an issue that I need to solve. I recognize that, right? He would bring me a real issue. I was like, yes, we need to solve that. I agree. But this is the way I'm going to lead to solve it. And I do things very methodically. I won't plant a new row of flowers. I will dig up the whole garden and fertilize the soil and buy a new tractor and then, design a landscape, and then we have new flowers, right? But my husband is a man of short accounts, and he does things very quickly. And so we were both frustrating each other with the way we were doing things. But happy to say that we still work together. We're still married. And the Lord has helped us through that as well. And then our three boys work for us too. They're all in their 20s and they work in different capacities. But I tell them, I said, look, you don't get any special privileges working here. No special privileges for your last name. It's your choice to work here. You don't have to work here. And I said, first and foremost, you are brothers first. You're brothers first. That's the most important thing.
Wow. Yeah. I've spent some time with your team, and they raved about how you love employees. Could you just share some of the ways that you lead in that capacity?
Our work family is a family. It's our community. When I say our, it's Ben's and my community. And as our new roles as owners, we are finding ourselves less needed in the day-to-day, but very, very difficult to tear ourselves away from the office because we love the people so much. And they've watched our kids grow up. Heck, some of them watched me grow up. And it's just a wonderful time being in the office and being around these people. And I love to go and I bring them all a birthday gift on their birthday. I go and shake their hand and say thank you for all your work here on their work anniversary. And then I get to know them. Like we have one employee who leads the local Veterans of Foreign Wars post, and we even have gone to some of his events at the VFW in support of him.
That's
and
great.
do some work with that organization because we love our veterans as well. But it's just meeting the individual needs, because we're not the type of employer that says, leave your problems at home.
Yeah.
We're the type of employer that says, how can we help you in what you're struggling with?
So for those that have a team that they oversee or a company that they're running, a group that they're leading, 2 or 3 things to love them well.
Yeah.
What are 2 or 3 practical things to love them well? I heard one was, pay attention. Like, pay attention to what they're involved in, ask what they're involved in, go and spend time with what they're involved in, celebrate them. What's a couple of other things that just real intentional ways to love your staff?
Yeah, absolutely. All those things, but definitely keeping top of mind with every decision that you make for the business. How will it affect the people?
Yeah, I love that. So when making decisions, how's it affect people? Treat them with respect and dignity. Know who they are. Know what they're involved in. Get involved in their world. Spend time with them. That's a great thing as well. I love that. Well, Erin, thank you so much. This was an incredible conversation. I do have to ask you a couple of ending questions. We do this with all of our guests so that our folks would get to know you just a little bit more. So here we go. How good was Ben at basketball?
He was very good. Very good. He got a scholarship to John Brown University, and that's the reason why we met.
I love that.
He wouldn't have chosen that university otherwise, and he'll tell you the same thing.
But it's okay to admit here, can you beat Ben in one-on-one?
I cannot.
Okay. He is rather tall.
He's 6'6" and I'm 5'4". So
he is. I wish I had that height playing basketball. Yeah. I heard he was really good.
He is good. And I've tried, but no, I cannot beat him in one-on-one.
I love that. And you're a leader, you're involved in so many different things, and chairman of your company, you're speaking at all these things, and you're involved in all these things. What is one of your favorite downtime activities?
Oh, spending time with my granddaughters.
I figured you'd go with that.
Absolutely. We have dance parties. Yeah.
You have dance parties?
We have dance parties. We'll just pull up some music on my phone, and we'll just dance silly around the house.
Do you have a grandma name?
Lolly.
Lolly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's Ben?
Pop.
Lolly and Pop. I love that. After all these years with boys and smelly boys and all the things they do, you got 5 granddaughters.
5 granddaughters.
That's so great.
Yeah, and hopefully more to come. My oldest son is getting married.
Okay. Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. Congratulations. More to come. You heard that, oldest son.
That's right. Yeah.
That's so great. Well, what the work you're doing, and we've had the privilege of working with you, working through Workmatters Institute with your crew.
Yeah.
That was so wonderful. I got to teach. You got to be a part and help and lead that as well. You guys just have a great, incredible executive team and staff and a great company.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really great. So thank you so much for being on the Workmatters podcast. If people want to learn more about your company, where do they go?
Yeah, they can go to kiefersage.com, Kieferi before E.
Awesome. So you heard that, kiefersage.com. Go learn more about this company, touch base with Erin and get to know them a little bit more. And also, one of the things that we did get to do was spend time with their company by bringing Workmatters Institute into their company and going through that with their staff and their team. And we can do the same for you. And you can go to workmatters.org to find out more about how to take Workmatters Institute into your company. Thanks so much for being with us, Erin.
Thank you, Brandon.
That was great.
Erin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining the Workmatters podcast. Make sure you subscribe to get notifications when we launch new episodes. Start living out your faith through your work in practical ways by starting the Workmatters Institute online today. You can do this and learn more about upcoming forums, webinars, and conferences by visiting workmatters.org.